All right, another Creative Spin podcast. And on this episode, I sit down here with my friend Colin, and we're going to discuss quality versus quantity. The big question everybody's always asking, should I do more stuff? Should I get, things done properly? So we're going to dive into that one and, pull up a couple of examples of how we deal with that situation in our day-to-day and projects and clients and all that kind of fun stuff. So stay tuned for another great episode of the Creative Spin podcast. Hit the intro. Today's podcast is brought to you by Workplace One, a company offering boutique private offices, co-working spaces, and virtual office solutions, as well as meeting rooms in the best neighborhoods of Toronto and Kitchener-Waterloo. Ideal for entrepreneurs, companies, and passionate business people. Workplace One is where you want to be with your business. For more information, go over to workplaceone.com. All right, so quality, quantity.
That's the big question.
Big question. Colin, which one do you prefer?
Honestly, I do enjoy my quality, but at the same time, if you're releasing one video a year, you're not really getting anywhere. So,
I know, spend the whole 6 months thinking about it, and then all of a sudden it's a documentary.
If we could create movies with every video we release, I'd love it, but it's just not doable. So I'm going to go out and say that it's a good mix of both, like we were talking about.
Yeah. So we were having a conversation before this all started, and we've kind of agreed on that point. I think it needs to be a balance of those both aspects. I mean, having quantity means you're going to have to plan a lot more. You're going to have to spend a lot more time. That's the bottom line. There's no other way to put it. You want more videos, you're going to have to spend the time. So that's why it becomes a little bit difficult, especially if, for anybody. I was going to say if you have a business, but even life. I mean, life is complicated. There's a ton of different things that we have to do during the day. And
exactly,
we can't be recording all the time and editing and doing all that stuff. So it does become a little bit of an issue, but make as many videos as you can.
Exactly.
And obviously, we're talking mostly here in terms of having your own YouTube channel, mostly business oriented. I think our conversation is always geared more towards the business side of things. But even on a personal side, if you have your own channel, if you just like talking about photography, videography, whatever it is, you should still look into doing as many videos as you can. I mean, one of the things that we talk a lot about is, the consistency on YouTube and why it's so important. Yeah. And that really comes down to anything, even when we go back to old school TV and, why were you waiting for the Tuesday night to see that specific show, creating that, but you knew that every Tuesday you're going to have that show on TV, right? Yeah. So that consistency is basically the same thing on YouTube. Now it's up to you if you want to have that consistency happening only once a week, twice a week, it's up to you. But when it comes to growing your channel and reaching out to more people, I mean, the more videos you have, the more chances of getting noticed you're going to have.
Specifically to a business, it's when you're starting a content creation channel, whether it be off of Instagram, Facebook, or YouTube, you do have an end goal. As much as a lot of other YouTubers that are doing it more on a personal level are trying to sort of create
They're trying to create the YouTube channel as their business,
exactly.
Right? It's a little bit different that way.
And so with this, it's it's an investment from the business, so you're looking for some sort of return. So one of the important things to kind of realize is that with content, it's the more you produce, like you were saying, the more eyes you get on it.
Yeah.
And right away, that means that not only is the audience that is viewing the content is growing, but most likely your client list, your relationships, your general know about. So right away, this investment is going right back into the business, but it is that investment that needs to sort of be kind of realized.
When we talk about investments, what are we looking at here? We're looking at time, right? We're looking at equipment. I mean, it's not cheap.
Oh yeah.
We've definitely been feeling that one, because this is the thing. You know, you buy one nice piece of equipment, and then here comes the other nice piece of equipment, and then you're gonna need an extra thing. But I mean, it is time consuming and it is costly to do these videos. But I think the return is all there. And obviously, we're talking about Peter McKinnon here when you said Peter as well. And we keep referencing these people because they're good at their craft.
Oh,
they're good. They're really good at what they do. And, you know, as creators ourselves, we look at everybody and we try to learn from who's doing it the best. Yeah. And one of the things that they do a lot is, they started off, I guess, more towards the informational side of things. Yeah.
And tips and tricks. That was how they started.
Exactly. And a little bit less entertainment. And now, as they've evolved, they've thrown in a lot more entertainment. But it's funny to see the way that they're working is you'll have a very entertaining video one week and then a more let's review this. Let's look at this. Yeah. So they keep going back to that
and keeping
value.
That balance, right? And that's like key. But another cool thing, like, I know we're deep diving on these YouTubers a lot, but it's just interesting to see now because, for example, Peter and Maddy, I think that especially like half a year ago, they were much more similar in the sense of content output and just generally what they were doing.
And they've grown a little bit differently now.
And it's super interesting to see because originally they seemed like very like-minded individuals. They had an office together. They were working together and whatnot. But now Maddy went the route of posting daily, and Peter has now moved back from posting 3 times a week to like once or twice, I think it is. Like,
and I think that comes down to their priorities, and I you know, there's a struggle to grow your channel.
Yeah.
They've gone through that struggle of growing their channel.
Sure.
I think they're both now in a position where they're comfortable in terms of their audience, right? Yeah. They were able to put their audience together, and they know that people are watching. So now I think what's happening is that they're stepping back and they're realizing, okay, you know what? Let's stop with the whole craziness of trying.
That's only Peter, because Maddy's still uploading daily, which is
I think he did that as an experiment for a while. I think he's not doing that any longer. But I think, again, like, he's experimenting.
Yeah.
And that goes back to what I was going to say is I think now they're at that point where they're experimenting with things, right? Yeah. They're trying new things. And I think this is a good example for everybody out there. I mean, including ourselves. Try to find yourself, right?
Oh, yeah.
And a lot of times, you know, it's hard because everything has been done, right? So it's sometimes it's hard to say, oh no, you know what, I'm being original here. Yeah. But probably you're not. Somebody else has already done similar videos to yours and all of that. So, but I think you still have your own voice, and I think they are now coming out. You can hear their voices a little bit clearer now.
Yeah.
Because they're not so worried about the growth of the channel. Obviously they are, but not in the utmost important part of why they're doing it, right?
Yeah. Well, no, in that sense, like, I definitely agree. I wanted to bring up that point to sort of refer to the value of consistent content that's like a lot of like quantity versus quality, but in the sense that these guys used quantity to grow. I'm not saying that they lost quality, but the thing is, in a day, when you're recording from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. and then editing and uploading the next day,
it's not an easy thing.
Exactly. And you can't make it perfect, but that doesn't matter because you will do the best job that you can. And that was another great thing.
Within the time limit, right?
Exactly. And that was another thing that sort of Maddy spoke about, is that a lot of the people, when they're releasing videos, they think about releasing a video on one day and then that video is done. And then you go to the next day and then you start the next video and then that video is gone. What Maddy was talking about is that, like, for example, specific to him, his vlogs, because they were daily life vlogs, it was the whole story of it. So he didn't have one favorite vlog because all of them together made it what it was. And I think that that's the same way that if you ever look at any major company, they have campaigns. And those campaigns are a whole story, right?
Yeah,
it's
they need to make sense together, right?
Exactly.
The message has to be there.
It's in the magazine. It's on TV. It's on the billboard that you see in Yonge and Dundas Square. But those are all related, telling one story. And I think that that's a crucial concept to be thinking about in terms of video creation, is that that's it. You're telling a story through multiple videos. So when you're selling your company, you don't want to be selling your company individually in each video. That's not the point of it, because you're building a whole series. Whether you're doing just like talks like this podcast, this is one series where throughout the entirety of it, we're learning our audience. Our audience is learning more about us. We're growing together, but we're building that awareness. And I think that's a crucial part, that sort of like completely stops you from even wondering about quality versus quantity, because you're building quality as your quantity grows.
It's from that meeting with the client that we start putting those pieces together in our head, and
exactly,
that's going to help us then afterwards create that plan. Afterwards, when we're recording, we already know kind of the shots and the things that we need to do, and then that's going to help in post-production as well, and that ties into video and ties into like even graphic design, the graphic design side of Creative 7. Same thing. When somebody asks me, okay, I need a flyer done or a poster done for my business, and I want it to showcase this and that. As they're telling me what they want, I'm already creating that image in my head, and I'm going to be able to ask them, okay, can I get a picture of that product, or what kind of tagline do you usually use for the other product? And you start piecing it together so that when you bring it all into the computer, then it's going to be a lot easier to kind of go over and work with it. So a lot of the planning, and listen, we're all learning here at the same time. I mean, this is definitely a learning process, and we've been learning a lot. This last year has been amazing for us when it comes to learning all of these things. And I think we're getting to that point where we're putting all these pieces together now, and we're able to actually have everything nicely lined up and ready to go. And it's like setting this up. I did a little Insta story, and like it takes us literally 15-20 minutes to get all of this set up and tear down and all of that. In the beginning, we were like all over the place. We didn't know what the heck was going on, but it's you learn. And my advice to anybody out there that's wanting to get into video production or creating videos for your company and all of that, keep doing it. You're going to get faster, you're going to get better at it, and the quality is going to get better.
100%.
So there you go. The two things are going to be up, the quality and the quantity.
But you touched a really great point there, that it's like, don't be nervous if your first videos are coming out and you don't feel like you have that balance, or you don't feel like what we're doing, like this is now closing in on, I think this might be our 30th episode.
I don't know. We have to see, because we should have a special 30th.
Yeah, honestly. But it's getting there. And just in the sense of like those numbers, like this is 30 deep. If you go back, and I'm challenging all of y'all to go back to our first podcast and leave a comment there, but tell us what you see differently, because for us, we have watched those and we have those discussions all the time. Like, holy shit, like we're different people.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
And like, it's huge to see that in ourselves that's only like 4 months of growth, but that happened within 4 months. And like, that's part of like the awesomeness, I guess, that you could say that sort of all this tech has allowed us, is that growth is no longer linear. It's exponential. Every single time that you do something, you're 2 times better at it. So it's like, literally, if you just continue at it, keep at your craft, just like, who cares if you're starting with like what you think now is shitty? If you do it for a year, when you're looking back at it, it'll be shitty, but you'll know that you're like so many steps ahead.
But the only way that you're going to correct yourself for any mistakes that you might make in the recording is by actually watching those mistakes. So a lot of the things that I've corrected already since we've started doing our podcast, I've corrected because when I was watching the episodes, I'm like, oh man, why did I do that? Like, why did I say this? Or why am I sitting down like that? Or why, it's by watching yourself.
For sure.
Doing things that, you don't even realize you're doing, because, you're just having a conversation. You're overthinking stuff. A lot of the cases when you're starting is that you overthink stuff. So, just record, hit the button, record, watch yourself, and correct your mistakes, and keep evolving.
100%. All right.
Colin, I think this was an interesting topic. I mean, it was interesting to me. This is a nice conversation. I like to keep it as a conversation. Anything else you want to add to?
No, I think that's all. We summarized it pretty well. It's
all right.
Yeah.
We're good. Okay. So thank you, man.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
It's like whenever I need somebody to be in the podcast, Colin, we need to get out of there. And we start the podcast like that.
Hell yeah.
All right, you guys that are listening to us, that are watching us, don't forget, leave those comments, suggestions. We're always looking for suggestions. We're always looking for ideas.
Yeah.
Right? So don't forget to leave those there. Thumbs up, subscribes, tell your friends, family, I don't know.
Just play it at your workplace, just everywhere.
Have it on the TV all the time. You know what to do. All right, guys. Catch you on the next one.